Well, we're still comparing fractions today. We're finally done with looking at equivalent fractions, and now we're looking at fractions and deciding, are they bigger or are they smaller than another fraction? Or looking at a number line and decide, are they bigger than 1/2 or smaller than 1/2? The goal today is that we can reason. That means think. So yes, you're going to have to think today using benchmarks. Now, you saw Mr. Walker show you those benchmark standards. Like, we can look at a number line easily, and though this is halfway, right? That's 1/2. So 1/4 would be like here, and 3/4 here, 2/4 is the same as 1/2. So those benchmark fractions are the ones that we can kind of see easily on a number line and compare two fractions on the number line. So we're comparing these first three here to 1/2. On your homework today, you're going to have some choices to make. So I'll put it on the ones that are like these on your homework. Your choices are going to say, the first choice is going to say between 0 and 1/2. And the second choice will be between 1/2 and 0. So you're going to be doing that on your homework. You're choosing. And so it's just, I want you to think about this. So he was showing us on his number line that he was drawing, that if we look at the bottom number, look at our denominator, and then we look at the top number, and we've looked at this before. Anytime a fraction is equivalent to 1/2, the number on top is 1/2 as much as the number on the bottom. The numerator is half as much as the denominator. So I'm just going to write some examples here of 1/2. So anyone that would have the top number be half of the bottom number. 2 is half of 4. That's 1/2. Now, odd numbers you can't really do, like 1/3, but 3 is half of 6. 4 is half of 8. 5 is half of 10. 6 is half of 12. And so on. So all of these we know would be halfway. And so if we look at numbers then and compare them to 2/4, if we have a number down here that says, for example, 5/6, okay, well, halfway would be what? 3/6. But this is more than halfway, isn't it? Because this is 5/6. So our answer on this one would be between 1/2. This should be, sorry, I got myself confused. Between 1/2 and 1. So we're looking, do these fractions go here or do these fractions go here? Between 0 and 1/2 or between 1/2 and 1? So 5/6 is bigger than 3/6, which would be 1/2. So 3/6 would be right here. On the number line, 5/6 would be over here somewhere, because this would be 6/6. So our answer for this would be between 1/2 and 1. All right, now let's look at 1/3. We can't really look at this one and say what's half of 3 because it's not an even number. But I know that 1 is less than half of 3, right? 2 would be more than half of 3. So 1/3, if I was drawing on the number line, I would have to split it into thirds, and 1/3 is going to be like over here somewhere. And then we'd have 2/3 and then 3/3. The 1/3, 1 is less than half of 3, because if we doubled 1, what would we get? We would only get 2. So 1/3 is less than half of 3. So this answer would be between 0 and 1/2. Because 1 is less than half of 3. How about 7/12? Okay, so if we look up here and say 1/2 in 12ths would be 6/12, because 6 is half of 12, right? So this is 7/12. So 7 is more than half of 12. So this answer again would be between, if I could spell, sorry, 1/2 and 1, because on a number line, it's going to be over here somewhere. 7/12 is, because it's more than 1/2. 7 is more than 1/2 of 12. You got that? That's a bit confusing. We're going to look at some more in just a minute. Now, my paper is all wacko here. What you're doing on your homework is you're comparing two fractions. So 7/12 and 1/2. And remember, the mouth is always eating the bigger number, okay? It's like this thing is hungry. It's like it's Pac-Man, and Pac-Man wants to eat whichever number is bigger. So the mouth is always going towards the number that's bigger. Remember that as we do this. So this is 7/12 and 1/2. We just looked at that. I'm going to write it here so we can see it better. And we know that 7 is more than half of 12. So 7/12 is bigger than 1/2, because if we put this in 12ths, 6/12 would be the same as 1/2. So 7/12 is bigger. So Pac-Man's mouth is going towards the 7/12, okay? How about 7/12 and 5/6? 5/6. Well, that's hard, isn't it? I want you to think about this when we look at ones like this. What if we made the 6 a 12? We could multiply both top and bottom by 2, couldn't we? So we made this a 12. 2 times 6 is 12. What's 2 times 5? 2 times 5 is 10. So 5/6 is equivalent to 10/12. So 7/12, 10/12. Which one's going to be bigger? Yeah, 5/6 is going to be bigger than 7/12. All right, let's look at the next one. And I should say 5/6 is greater than 7/12 is the correct math language. All right, we're looking at this one now, 11/12. Okay, remember, what's half of 12? What would be half of 1/2 of 12? 6/12 would be 1/2. And so if we were drawing these on a number line, 11/12 would be way over here, almost to 12/12. So this answer on your assignment would be between 1/2 and 1. Let's just number this off to show you what I mean. So if I divided this into 12ths, I'd have to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/12, 6/12, 7/12, 8/12, 9/12, 10/12, 11/12, and this would be 12/12. So 11/12 would be way over here. So it's between 1/2 and 1. Whereas if this problem said, let's say 2/12, 2/12 would be right here, wouldn't it? So it would be between 0 and 1/2. But our question was 11/12, so it's between 1/2 and 1. Remember, you're just choosing those two choices on the ones like this on your homework today. All right, so let's think about 1/4. Well, that's easy. 4 is an even number, so 1/2 would be equal to how many fourths? Sorry, 1/2 would be equal to 2/4. 2 is half of 4. Okay, so 2/4 is 1/2. 1/4 is less than 1/2, isn't it? Because 2/4 is 1/2. So that would be the choice between 0 and 1/2 on a number line, because it's less than 1/2. 3/8, it's going to be the same thing. So if we look at 8s, what would we have to have an equivalent fraction? What's half of 8? 4 would be half of 8. So 1/2 would be 4/8, but this is less than 4/8. So that's also going to be between 0 and 1/2, because it's less than 1/2 of 8. 3 is less than 1/2 of 8. Got it? I think we got one more set of those to do before we quit. Now these, going back to these fractions, 11/12 and 1/4. 11/12 and 1/4, comparing these. So if we just think about halves, we can think about this. So half of 12 would be 6/12. Half of 4 would be 2/4. But this one's going to be less than half. This one's going to be more than half. So the 11/12 is larger, is greater than 1/4. Again, another way to do that is if we made the 4 a 12, by multiplying by 3. 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times 3 is 3. So 3/12 and 11/12. Obviously, 11/12 is bigger. Okay. use a number line to compare the fractions below. You can do a number line, however you want to do this. Draw it out like we're drawing it 1/4 and 3/8 now. Now, if we were thinking in halves, this would be 2/4 for a half. That's less than 1/2. And 4/8 would be a half. That's less than 1/2. So we can't really tell, can we? So on ones like these, we're going to need to get this common denominator and make sure if we look at them both as 8s, then I have to do 4. I'm thinking backwards this time. And 1 times 2 is 2. So 1/4 is equivalent to 2/8. 2/8 equals 1/4. So 2/8 or 3/8, which one is larger? 3/8 is larger. So 3/8 is greater than 1/4. We say it backwards. We could say 1/4 is less than 3/8. Moving on, there's quite a few problems today. All right, this time we've got 1/2 and 3/4. This one's pretty easy, I think, because 1/2 and 3/4. What would be half of 4? 2 would be half of 4, and this is more than 2, so it's more than 1/2 of 4. So there we go. 1/2 is less than 3/4, or if you want to say 3/4 is greater than 1/2. Okay, 1/2 and 7/8. Okay, think about 8s. What would be 1/2 of 8? Excuse me. 4/8 would be 1/2. Well, this is more than 4/8, so it's bigger than 1/2. 7/8 is greater than 1/2. This one we'll have to look at a little differently. We've got 2/3 and 2/5. Okay, well, let's think about a number line. We've got 2 on both of them, so here's 1/2. If we did thirds, we'd have 1/3, 2/3, like something like that. That's probably not exactly right, but and fifths, we would make it into smaller pieces, wouldn't we? Be like 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5. So a fifth is less than a third. So if you have 2/3, you've got from here to here. But if you've got 2/5, you've only got from here to here. That's 2/5, 1/5. Okay, so 2/3 is bigger than 2/5. All right, think about it in halves. Can't really do halves, but 2 is more than half of 3. 2 is less than half of 5. How do you know that? Well, half of 3 is 1. If you double 1, it's going to be 2. If you double 2, it's going to be 4. So 2 is more than halfway to 3. 2/5, if I do 2 and 2 more, it would be 4. Yeah, so the easiest way to do these is a number line, because it's hard to compare halves when you're looking at numbers that are not even in the denominator. So draw them out. Just remember, the bigger the number is on the bottom, the smaller pieces there are. It's been decomposed more. You want to say it, think about it like that. It's been broken into smaller pieces. So if you have the same number on top, the one that's bigger is the one that has a smaller number on the bottom. That's kind of confusing, isn't it? Because the bigger number, remember, the smaller the pieces are. Imagine a candy bar of this. You've got one candy bar, and you've got to split it in either into 3 pieces. So each person would get that size. But if you had to split it in that same candy bar into 5 pieces, you're getting smaller pieces because you had to split it into more pieces. Does that make sense now? So fifths are smaller than thirds. So 2/3 would be bigger than 2/5. Hope that didn't confuse you. Trying to get you to understand it. These can be tricky to think about. That's why we're using reasoning. We got to think a lot. All right, some more problems. 9/10, 3/5. Okay, so we're looking at this one again. The easiest way, I think, to find these is if I think about these as tenths. So 5 times 2 is 10. 3 times 2 is 6. So an equivalent fraction to 3/5 is 6/10, which obviously is smaller than 9/10. So 9/10 is greater than 3/5. 2/3 and 7/8. Okay, now this is kind of hard to find a number on the bottom. It's going to be the same, isn't it? Because we can't pick 8 because 3 is not a factor of 8. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do on a number line? It's going to be close to, because 2 is just 1 less than 3 and 7 is just 1 less than 8. What are we going to do? Well, if we pick a multiple of both 3 and 8, we can compare them that way. This gets a little tricky now. But what if we picked, what's a multiple of both 3 and 8? A number that has 3 and 8 as factors. How about 2 times 8 is 16? No, 3 won't go into 16. 3 times 8 is 24. There we go. 24. So let's change both of these fractions into 24ths. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 7 would be 21. I just multiplied top and bottom by 3. On this side, we got to do 3 times 8 is 24. 2 times 8 is 16. So now I've got 2/3 is equivalent to 16 24ths. 7/8 is equivalent to 21 24ths. Which one's bigger? 21 24ths or 16 24ths? 21 24ths is bigger, so 7/8 is greater than 2/3. All right. The last one here is kind of easy compared to that. 1/3 and 2/4. We know 1/3 is less than 1/2. And 2/4 is 1/2, isn't it? 2 is half of 4, so 1/2 or 2/4 is bigger than 1/3. And we've got some more. It goes on and on and on. We just want you to keep thinking. All right, 2/3, 5/10. All right, let's use reasoning and make this one simple. 5/10 is 1/2. Same thing as 1/2, right? 2/3 is more. 2 is more than half of 3. So this one is going to be bigger. 2/3 is greater than 5/10. Let's use reasoning again on this one. You kind of have to look at the problem and decide what's the best way to figure it out. And I'm going to show you a really easy way by the end of the week to do this. 11/12 and 2/5. Okay, excuse me. Half of 12 would be 6. So this is bigger than a half. Half of 5, we can't really do it, but 2 is less than half of 5 because 2 2s would just be 4. So this is going to be less than 1/2. This is more than 1/2. So 11/12 is bigger. And this one, 49 100 and 51 100ths. 49 hundredths and 51 hundredths. We got the same number on the bottom. So it's easy to see if you got the same number on the bottom, 49 out of 100 it would be less than 51 out of 100. All right, so for your assignment today, you're going to be, like I showed you on the first ones, you're going to be choosing whether it's between 1/2 and 1 or between 0 and 1/2. Look at the numbers, and then you're going to be comparing fractions like we did on these, and choosing greater than, less than, or equal to. We didn't see any that were equal to on this assignment yet. So this is a little trickier today, but I think you can do it. Just do your best. We'll talk about it in the meet if you have any problems. And look forward to seeing you then. Give it your best shot. Think about it. Reason it. Draw out a tape diagram. Draw out a number line if you need to. Whatever you need to do to help you. Think about 1/2. That's an easy way to do it too. All right. Get to work. We'll talk to you later.